Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me this evening for our June virtual nutrition talk. My name is Karen Caldwell, and I'm the owner and nutrition coach here at B3 Gym. Every month, I host a virtual nutrition talk with the goal of providing you with some free tools and resources that you can use to take control of your health by taking control of your nutrition. Today, we're going to talk about why you should rethink what you're drinking to make sure you're on the right path to reaching your health and wellness goals. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I am going to share my screen here and we'll get you going. Right. All right. All right, so at B3 Gym, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. There's so much information out there. It can be really overwhelming to figure out what's right for you. So our goal is to empower you to make better choices and build better habits around your nutrition. We want to help you build a strong nutrition foundation so that you can meet your short and long-term goals and feel and look the way that you deserve. So according to the CDC, the prevalence of obesity in 2017-2018 was 42.4% for adults and 19.3% in children and adolescents. You might be wondering why I'm mentioning obesity in a talk about rethinking your drink. Sugar-sweetened beverages are a major contributor to weight gain. In fact, many studies have found a significant correlation with increased added sugar consumption and weight gain, which is why we really need to consider taking a look at what we're drinking. We can consume tons of added sugar and calories through our beverages without even realizing it. So I had a client who was doing all the right things. She was eating all the right foods, using the plate method for her meals, eating tons of vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, but we still weren't seeing the progress that we should be. She was feeling a little bit lost, getting a little bit frustrated, obviously, and starting to lose motivation. So during our monthly check-in, we highlighted some of the amazing things she was already doing, but revisited one of the foundations to a healthy lifestyle, and that is hydration. We decided to take a deeper look into what she was drinking throughout the day. After asking about her beverages, we found the problem. She didn't realize how many calories and how much sugar she was consuming just through what she was drinking. In a typical day, she was starting off with a Starbucks sweetened latte and an apple juice at her office with her morning snack. And in the afternoon and at dinner, she was also having a can of soda. So while that's only 3 to 4 drinks, they can add up really quickly. So let's put this into a visual. Taking a look at this picture, would you eat these sugar cubes or would you let your kids eat these? So this is 6 1/4 teaspoons of sugar, and that's the same as what you'll find in this lemonade. What about this amount of sugar? Every time you grab a can of Coke, you're getting about 10 1/4 teaspoons of sugar. So to bring this into context, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 24 grams of added sugar for women and 36 grams of sugar for men each day, or about 6 and 9 teaspoons of sugar respectively. So thinking about that one lemonade or that one Coke is already more than what you should have in an entire day. So here are a few more examples. We have root beer, fruit juices, and that delicious Starbucks frap. No wonder my client wasn't seeing the results she wanted with all of the added sugar and calories in her diet. So one study that analyzed the USDA sugar and sweetener outlook data found that the US population is consuming more than 300% of the recommended daily amount. So based on these few sugar-sweetened beverage examples, it's easy to see just how easy it can be to consume all that sugar. So now that we've identified the problem, I want to discuss how we identify the added sugars in our beverages, how to start choosing options that contain less sugar, and dive a little bit into alcoholic beverages as well. So sugar can be hard to identify in our food and beverages because they can be found under many different names other than sugar. First things first, we need to understand how to read the nutrition facts labels. So we want to start by checking out the serving information found at the top. For single serve bottles or cans, odds are the label will be for the entire beverage. However, if you're pouring from a larger container, it will be helpful to understand what the serving size is to understand the sugar that you'll be consuming each time you drink. So to find the sugars, we need to look under the total carbohydrate section, where you'll usually find dietary fiber, total sugars, and added sugars. And so remember that added sugars are sugars added into a food or beverage, usually for taste and or shelf life. And you'd be surprised at what food products have added sugars. To search further, you can take a look at the ingredient list. There are estimated to now be around 60 different names for sugars on food labels. So look for things that say sugar and words that end in "ose," such as fructose, or have syrup in their name. Remember that the ingredients are listed in order of how much is in that product. So if sugar is one of the first ingredients, you know that there's a lot in there. So what are the better options? The best option is water. This can be tap water if your tap water is safe, bottled water, or sparkling water such as LaCroix. In a day, we should be aiming to drink 60 or more ounces of water. Dehydration can lead to poor digestion, constipation, lethargy, headaches, dry skin and muscle cramps, maybe some joint swelling, and even weight gain. So we need water to break down fats to be used for energy. If we don't have enough water, this process slows down, which can affect the rate at which we burn calories for energy, which ultimately can make it more difficult for you to lose weight. So next up, I'll share 3 easy tips to help get you started with increasing your water intake. Tip number 1 is to carry a water bottle with you wherever you go. So carrying a water bottle can seem too simple of a solution, but we're more likely to remember to drink water when our water bottle is right in front of us. There are also water bottles with hour markers or time markers, so you can make sure that you're drinking consistently throughout your day. Tip number 2 is to drink out of a straw. So drinking out of a straw is another really simple change that we can make. Drinking out of a straw is more convenient and efficient. In other words, it will make drinking water feel easier, which will lead to increased intake. You can also find reusable straws very easily. So I use a Yeti tumbler with a straw. Right here is my example, obviously go blue. But I have a Yeti tumbler with a straw and I end up refilling multiple times a day. Tip number 3 is going to be to add flavor to your water. If you don't like the taste of plain water, that's not a problem. Try taking advantage of the amazing produce this season by adding citrus fruits such as lime, lemons, or oranges to your water for flavor. Another great flavor add is fresh mint that pairs really nicely with the limes, cucumber, or even watermelon. Don't be afraid to experiment and find flavors that excite you. So one of my clients recently bought one of those big water containers for his fridge and now has delicious fruit-infused water ready to drink at home. And he's actually drinking a lot more water now because of that. So now let's talk about alcoholic beverages. So research is limited. However, several studies have found that high alcohol intake is correlated with impairments in strength, power, muscular, and cardiovascular endurance. We also know that there are changes in your body's hormones and immune system, along with an increased rate of dehydration and possible issues with post-exercise muscle growth and recovery, as well as glycogen replenishment. Lots of words. So in short, your workouts aren't going to feel as great and you won't be able to recover as efficiently when you bring alcohol into the mix on a regular basis. So when you consume alcoholic beverages, your body starts to prioritize metabolizing the alcohol over the protein, carbohydrates, and fat that you consume. So what does that mean for you? Drinking is an easy way to tell your body to store the calories that you're taking in rather than use them for energy, which can ultimately increase fat stores in your body. Studies also show that alcohol will affect your appetite and your food choices. Rather than choosing whole foods that help you feel better, you're more likely to choose the high calorie and high fat foods that are often paired with or found in the same places as those alcoholic beverages. While drinking can be fun, let's talk about how you can stay mindful while partaking. So we're not saying you have to give up alcohol 100%, but you should try to avoid adding sugars into them with sodas or juices and other mixers. We want to aim to choose simple drinks like wine or light beer or spirits mixed with water or carbonated water and fruit. Be sure to plan ahead and make sure you're eating whole foods and drinking plenty of water both before and after. So lastly, a great rule of thumb is drinking at a 1-to-1 ratio of water with your alcohol on a night out. And be sure to ask us about all of our approved drinks for this summer's festivities. You can take a look at this mixed drink guide here, and you can kind of be a little bit surprised at how many calories and how much sugar are found in some of our favorite alcoholic drinks. So through this talk, we discussed sugar-sweetened beverages and how to identify them, even with tricky labeling. We also shared some tips on how to increase our water intake, which is so important. Lastly, we talked about how alcohol affects your fitness and how to stay mindful when partaking in alcoholic beverages. In other words, we discussed rethinking your drink. Thank you so much for joining our nutrition talk today. Take this information and go hydrate. If you are looking for more guidance, support, and accountability to change your hydration habits or work on any of the habits needed for long-term success, be sure to schedule a free intro today. Please join me next month on Wednesday, July 7th at 7 p.m. for our next free virtual nutrition talk. We'll be diving into the 3 signs that you may be under eating and explain why eating less is not always the best option for reaching your health and wellness goals. Keep an eye on our social media for more information on how to register. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here, and we'll go ahead and close out our seminar. If you do have any questions about anything that we talked about today, please contact me. I would be happy to help, and hopefully I will see you here next month. Thanks.